He's a likeable character, he's a lively character, and he's certainly enjoying himself this evening.
Yeah, he is a likeable character, and we will look forward to seeing him in the very next race. So track grading going on now, and it shouldn't be too much longer before we see racing, but we can get some more reaction now with Scott Nichols. He's got the championship leader with him, Bartosz Marzik.
Yeah, the man they're all chasing, Bartosz Marzik, joins me now. Bartosz, you had a last in your second race, but then from there it's been a perfect night.
Yeah, last two racing not so bad, but my second one so it's really bad. Nothing start and nothing on the laps, but many things have after this hit, but now little bit the changing and use it all the time the same engine and bike, but the big difference the setups, and now it's little bit the better on the working, but we'll see.
Yeah, you have a good record here in the past of the GPs, and tonight you're looking very fast. You have gate 1 in your last block of races, which has been working good.
I hope so.
Yeah, don't we all? They're all chasing you, Bartosz. Is this a track you enjoy racing?
For the racing, not so bad, but for the fight, so really hard, because too many plays and too many paths to coming to the other guys. Must focus on the first corner and the first moment on the start, because really also the first moment on the start, the whole like this, so nothing, and really hard for the good jump, the first meters, but I hope so have a good evening today.
I'm sure you'll have a good evening. I'll let you get back and concentrate. Thank you for talking. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, always good to hear from Bartosz Marzik, and just explaining there, that was a good interview, because I didn't change the bike, but I've changed the setup quite radically, and they must understand the equipment well, because there's no doubt that the change proved to be the right one.
Yeah, he's not a rider that changes bikes unnecessarily or very often at all. He just tends to work with the bike that he starts on. It just improves that as the meeting goes on. You know, you do have to make changes. Even if you start a meeting riding well with the bike working well, the track will always change. So you have to follow track conditions. You have to make sure that you keep on top of things, make the right decisions. And of course, Bartosz has a decent record here in GPs around Vojens, so he knows how to do it.
He does indeed. Yeah, he's won here, and he had a second place as well behind Artem Laguta last time. So yeah, he has fond memories of riding in the Grand Prix. He hasn't got quite such fond memories of when they came here in the Speedway of Nations, unfortunately. It was a bit of a disappointment, but as I say, he has put himself right in the thick of the action here. He's on 8 points with one qualifier to come, and he'll be out in heat 20 off the inside. So plenty of grading going on. The track is actually quite slick. It is difficult to overtake, isn't it? And when they put the water on, it does make it quite greasy. It's quite cool now as well. It's September and autumn has come here in Scandinavia. So late on in the night, I think it's a fine balance with how much water you put down, because it just won't dry as quickly as it did earlier in the day.
No, and it does affect the track for the first couple of races. After the track grade, the track tends to find a better dirt line after a couple of rides, so the racing will be different, maybe in heat 17 to certainly as it will be in 1920. But coming out for this heat 17-18, it's a different mindset to possibly heat 19-20, because these guys that are just on the cusp of qualification don't actually know at this point what they need, because they don't know what the opposition are going to do. So you've really got to go out with the mindset. If you've got 7 points, you know, 9 might be enough, but 8 might be enough. So you've just got to go out and chase it.
I think it's one of those scenarios where you can't overthink it. You just got to take each race as it comes and get as much out of the race as you possibly can. I think if you start getting too clever, you can trip yourself up, that's for sure. But we're on with the action here now. Track grading is complete, and heat 17 is with us now. Crucial times here. Certainly Jason Doyle, who's on 7 points, looking for a couple here. That will be very handy. And Rasmus Jensen same applies, possibly one may be enough, but he'll be looking for double figures. I do think that gate choice in the semi-finals and the final could prove to be vital here tonight when you've got two starts, gates 1 and 4, so much better than the other two. It really does come into play, and it will be very much on the minds of all 16 competitors, and of course particularly the top 8 here this evening. So here we go then. Rasmus Jensen on the inside in red, Jason Doyle alongside him in gate number 2. Gate number 3 in white is Martin Vasilik, and Jack Holder from the outside in yellow. Hasn't had a good night, Jack. He's almost certainly not going to make the semi-finals here this evening. A win and then he may have to wait around, but certainly not the night we were expecting to see.
No, he had such a good Speedway Nations, and he hasn't looked at all comfortable out on track tonight. Jason Doyle, as you say, he's going to need a couple of points here by the looks of things, and coming off gate 2, he actually made a decent job of coming off gate 3, which has been a disaster zone all evening. Scored a couple of points from there, so he will be thinking that he can possibly get across Rasmus Jensen, which is what he's going to have to do.
Indeed he is. He's been pretty competitive tonight. The bike's been pulling his arms out, I would suggest, but he's been hanging in there. So back on with the action now. Heat number 17. Martin Vasilik jumps away, but it's Rasmus Jensen on the inside, but round the outside there is Jack Holder. Where did he find that? He's had a disappointing night, but he's going to finish with a flourish here. He's on 4 points coming into this race, and he's going to move on to 7 if he can hang on out in front. Rasmus Jensen once again hanging tough in second place with Jason Doyle. You can't move wide. Jack Greasy out there, and they're all hugging that white line. And for Jack Holder, sharp away from the tapes, jet propelled, and Rasmus Jensen, the wild card, this will see him through to the semi-finals. Doyle's got work to do.
Yeah, Doyle's got work to do. A point here will leave him vulnerable on 8 points. He's got just the one heat wins, trying to work the outside. We can see up front here that Rasmus Jensen is putting so much pressure on Jack Holder. He really is pulling some shakes and chasing back wheels. Now Jason Doyle is certainly joining the party on the outside.
Oh, here we go around the last corner. Doyle. Oh, Rasmus Jensen and Doyle almost fighting coming off the last corner. Brilliant speedway there. Rough and tumble there. But out in front, Jack Holder finishes with 3 points when it was looking unlikely, but a sparkling start and an excellent ride out in front, and so much going on behind him. All the fireworks were kicking off behind him there. Jack Holder out in front, 3 points. Rasmus Jensen just about hanging on to second place, 2 points, and Jason Doyle third place for him, and Martin Vasilik, a night to forget for him. But Mikkelsen out in front, and all of a sudden Jack Holder propels himself into 8th place, but he's vulnerable from Dan Bewley and Robert Lambert and Freddie Lindgren behind him. But Rasmus Jensen, 10 points. What a performance from him. Nicely through to the semi-finals. Great work, but a little bit of a consolation there for Jack Holder.
Yes, Jack Holder's a very, very slim chance, unlikely on 7 points, but makes a great start from the outside there, gate 4, and gets across the opposition. And Rasmus Jensen just would not let him go. He put him under so much pressure, really chasing Jack Holder's back wheel there, bouncing into the corner, giving it absolutely everything he's got. He tried the inside, he tried the outside, he's just changed direction there. I'm not sure if that was just because of what he was trying to do with Jack Holder, or he was trying to stop Jason Doyle, but Jason just suddenly on the last lap found the pace and moves to the outside, and Rasmus Jensen pushes him absolutely as far as he can.
Yeah, that was tough speedway coming out of the last corner. I sense that Rasmus Jensen just got himself a little bit out of shape coming out of the previous corner, and that gave the opportunity for Doyle to pounce, but just couldn't quite get there, and it was a great entertainment there for second and third. So here we go then with heat number 18, and Leon Madsen coming out here once again, up against Mikkelsen, the two Danish riders going along nicely, particularly Mikkelsen. He's had a sparkling night with 3 consecutive wins in his last 3 outings. On the inside in red then is Leon Madsen. Max Frick comes out of gate number 2 in blue. Mikkelsen going from gate number 3 in white. And Janowski, well, Janowski's had a very disappointing night, and he will go from the outside in the yellow helmet colour. And unfortunately for Janowski, he could well be slipping out of the top 6 here tonight. Of course, results he'll have to wait and see, but he's on the slide this year. and started so well in Croatia. When you think back to that night, looking really good, but of late it's been tough for him. Here we go then. Heat number 18. Big race for Madsen on the inside, missed the start. And but does he get? How did he get there? He didn't drop the clutch right, but he's got there. Brilliant stuff from him. Frick coming through into second place with Mikkelsen back in third. Got to say, I didn't think that Leo Madsen was going to get there, but the bike just took off going to the first corner. Fires himself to the front, and Madsen once again delighting the home crowd. He's out in front. Madsen really bringing it on here in Heat 18, Chris. This is good stuff from him.
Yeah, it's great stuff. As you say, Kelvin, he didn't jump from the start, but he just worked the bike to the corner and took full advantage of having the inside run. Max Frick giving chase, but he's not putting him under pressure. This will do for Mikkelsen. It's an uncomfortable night for him, but this is going to move him on to 11 points. He'll be in the semi-finals.
Yeah, Madsen coming through here. Started the race on 7 points. He's down the back straight for the last time. He's out in front. Very handy 3 points for him. Moves him on to double figures. 10 points for him. Max Frick giving chase. And this time Mikkelsen does look like a little bit uncomfortable there, but he had done the hard yards prior to his last race. And Mikkelsen moves on to 11 points, but for Leon Madsen, celebrating with the crowd down the back straight. Certainly turning on the style there in his final qualifying race and moving nicely through to the semi-finals. Leon Madsen out in front, 3 points for him. Max Frick back in second place, 2 points. Mikkelsen finishes third, 1 point for him. And once again, Maciej Janowski, a disappointing evening for him, just finishing on 4 points. But there you can see it right now. Mikkelsen and Madsen, having completed their qualifying races, on 11 and 10 points respectively, so they're going along very nicely indeed. Rasmus Jensen finishes on 10, so he's through. Dudek could just leapfrog them all, of course, with a ride in hand. But for Leon Madsen, after that slip up earlier on, has come to the party big time in his final track. He doesn't get away well at all there, but it's just, he got a real dream run into the first corner.
He did, yeah, took full advantage of being on the inside. The bike just drove its way to the corner after a fairly average sort of jump from the start. But no question that between himself and Brian Karger, they've got something that's working quite well for him. You can see the tyre there, hardly any pressure in it at all. It's just flexing away, but it's getting him going forward. And we can see the pair of them there, Brian Karger, his engine tuner, alongside Leon Madsen, just watching that race, and they've got some decisions to make before the semi-finals.
Yeah, what gate they're going to go off, being one of them, and it'll be interesting to see exactly what he gets left. But nonetheless, he has been winning races tonight and looking pretty strong. So here we are then, heat number 19, the lineup. Lebedev's off the inside in red. Freddie Lindgren coming out of gate number 2, needs a win. Gate 2 in blue for him. Patrick Dudek going along nicely. Gate number 3 in white, and Ty Woofenden, a point will probably be enough for him, goes from the outside, but Woofenden, I sense, will be very keen indeed to win this. So he'll be aware of the semi-finals coming up and their better gate positions. So for Ty, who started slowly tonight but has really turned on the style with 8 points from his last 3 outings, if he could move on to 11, that would be very useful indeed. So here we go then, just 2 races before the semi-finals now. Heat number 19, movement from Lindgren. Been a lot of movement, but what a start from Woofenden. That really is perfect, just what he needed. He fires himself to the front. He looks like a winner already there. Lebedev's back in second place. Dudek there hugging the inside in turns 3 and 4, coming through into third. But for Ty Woofenden, all of a sudden that fire in his belly is beginning to pay dividends, Chris, because that start from the outside, certainly textbook, looking really quick out in front.
He is, yeah, 2 race wins and a second coming into this one, and it looks like he's going to take another win here, which will put him in the semi-finals for sure. And Dudek worked hard on the first lap just to make sure he gets a point. Lindgren, as you say, from the start was rolling. I think the pressure was on. Gate 2 not working, felt he'd got to do something off the start. You know, looking to cheat a little bit, but it's all part of the game.
Here we are then, Ty Woofenden. This will be his 3rd heat victory of the evening, and he'll move on to 11 points in total. That was a smashing ride from him. Lebedev's back in second place and Dudek finishing in 3rd, so no real harm done for Dudek. He'll finish on 11 points. Tough out there tonight. Everybody really is finding it difficult to be super consistent, but for Woofenden, after failing to score first time, he picks up another race win, 3 points for him. Lebedev's back in second place, 2 points. Patrick Dudek in third, 1. Finishes on 11, and Freddie Lindgren missing out, and will miss out on the semis as well as a result of that. Woofenden at the top with Mikkelsen on 11 and joined by Patrick Dudek. How tight is that? Leon Madsen on 10, Rasmus Jensen on 10, and Smarslik back on 8. But Smarslik has got a race in hand.
Yeah, Frederick Lindgren gets a warning for his movement on the start line here. Referee quite rightly letting the race go. He doesn't gain himself an advantage. He hits the first turn at the back, but not for Ty Woofenden. So makes a cracking start, makes the bike work perfectly from the outside gate. And Lebedev's there just giving chase. But Ty Woofenden really has settled down after a tough opening ride. Didn't score on his first one, but
looking
11
good now.
points from there, looking really good.
Yeah, really solid work, just dropping 1 point from the next 4 heats. So looking like he's a man on a mission tonight, and a welcome return to form for Ty Woofenden here in Vojens this evening. So one more race to go to complete the qualifiers. Massive race this for lots of reasons. Smarslik sitting on 8 points, will need to push on. He's on the inside in red. Dan Bewley on 6 points, needs some big points. Gate number 2 in blue, Szapelski on gate number 3 in white, and Robert Lambert off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Lambert needs to win the race if he's got any chance at all of making semi-finals. And I would think the same really applies for Dan Bewley. Maybe a second place, but I would suggest to be certain a win. But he unfortunately isn't coming from a great start place in gate number 2. But for Smarslik there in red, you just sense with the form he's shown in the last couple of heats he's been in, he's favourite here to win heat 20.
Yeah, back-to-back race wins for Smarslik coming off the inside gate. It's been working pretty well. Robert Lambert, as you say, needs a race win for sure here. It looks like it's going to be a countback on 8 points.
Indeed it does. And Bewley left it late, of course, in Wrocław, where he needed to win his last heat, and he duly did. But he didn't have Smarslik alongside him that time. He has now. Can he produce something pretty special from gate number 2? Heat 20 is with us. Oh, he's blown it. I think there may have been a fraction of movement from Bartosz Smarslik, but all of a sudden for Dan Bewley, charges the tapes. And I would suggest that's the end of his night, and that's a bitterly disappointing end. No, just jumped on his own, I think.
Yeah, I think it's just... let's just have a look, see if there's any movement.
Oh, he just moves his shoulders.
Yeah, there's body movement.
Yeah,
from,
not the bike.
No, just a little bit of body movement from Smarslik.
Was that a bit of gamesmanship there?
It could be for sure. Yeah, it's
no doubt it worked if it was, because Bewley was away. We saw it earlier on with Lambert. And we'll see Bewley now clearly frustrated, and that was a tough moment for him. He's been going through a dream patch, of course, but unfortunately the exclusion light is already on. But we will see now Emil Bruem Ankerson coming in now for his first race of the night. Not ideal for the youngster, because he's had to wait an awful long time, but for Dan Bewley, I mean, that's
huge disappointment.
That's huge disappointment, and unfortunately we won't see him again tonight. But Grand Prix Speedway can be quite cruel at times, and he certainly paid the price there. Yep,
disappointment. Was it gamesmanship from Smarslik?
Well,
Who knows?
Definitely saw his shoulders move, but the bike didn't, did it?
No, you have to think that because it was body movement, he didn't actually even move the clutch either. So you've got to say it could have been gamesmanship.
Okay, let's get some reaction now. Hot off the press this is with Scotty Nichols. Dan Bewley joins him now.
Dan Bewley, obviously a frustrating way to go out. Just tell us what happened there.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much. I haven't seen the video, but you know, it was a mistake on my part. I feel like I'm sure I've seen Bartek move, and he just sent me a little bit, and you know, that's a mistake on my part. And you know, with experience, you know, it's something that, you know, I need to, you know, not get sucked in for that. I've got a bit of dirt in my throat, but not get sucked in. But yeah, I don't know if that's actually what happened, but yeah, I need to improve that.
Mate, you're being brutally honest, but Gate 2's not been working, so the pressure was on. Sorry to see you bow out early, but bounce back next time, and thanks for chatting.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Well, that's fantastic from Bewley. Clearly, we will see a movement. It was a little bit of movement. I don't think there was any malice in it either. I really don't. I think Bartosz Zmarzlik's a bit twitchy, actually, on the inside. I think he realises he's got, you know, the hottest rider in the world right now alongside him.
It's just ironic it wasn't his clutch arm, and it was obviously the arm that Dan Bewley can sense easiest looking across. But,
sure. But here we go then, restaging of heat number 20. Zmarzlik on the inside. Emil Bruem will come out of gate number 2 in blue. Pavel Szapilski out of gate number 3 in white, and Robert Lambert, needing a win, will go from the outside in yellow. And as I say, this is a bit of an opportunity here for Lambert. Gate 4's been working well. On the stats so far tonight, it's been the best gate. Needs to take full advantage. That tape exclusion earlier on really did hurt him. So here we are then. Heat number 20 to conclude the qualifying races. Lambert's made a great start. And he's got there. He's a little bit untidy on the run there, but he's got round the outside of Zmarzlik. And I'll tell you what, Lambert has responded well here. He's out in front. I've got to say, there's all sorts of shenanigans going on there with Emil Bruelm. He's gone far too wide, with Szapilski now coming through into third place. But for Robert Lambert, what a way to respond. Brilliant start from gate number 4, powering away out in heat number 20. Will this be enough for him?
who knows, we'll have to look at the count back, but brilliant ride as he put himself under pressure with that exclusion after scoring 5 points in his opening 2 rides, and Zmarzlik's got no answer for him, but of course he'll be comfortably qualifying on his 10 points.
He will indeed. So Robert Lambert showing plenty of resolve here, powering away out in front down the back straight in heat number 20. One last turn to go. This is a great effort for young Robert Lambert. Wins his last qualifying race, and we'll have to see how it pans out, but 8 points might just be enough for him. Bartosz Zmarzlik finishing back in second place, moves on to 10 in total after his 5 rides in the first 20 races. But for Robert Lambert, he moves on to 8 points. At this stage he sits in 7th, and it might just be enough. And wow, what a way to do it. Lambert out in front, 3 points. Bartosz Zmarzlik back in second place, 2 points, and Pavel Szapilski back in third, 1, and Emil Bruem failing to score. This is the completion of 20 races now, and you can see Woofenden, Mikkelsen and Dudek on 11, Madsen on 10, Zmarzlik on 10, Jensen on 10. Lambert makes it. He's through on 8 points, as is Jason Doyle, so touch fortunate there. And Jack Holder just missing out. A three-nighter speedway, and we got 3 massive races to come. Good ride from Lambert under massive pressure there, Chris. Got to give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, he handled that really, really well. Cracking first turn. Rockets the bike away from gate 4. Good start. Zmarzlik's on the inside, just puts the front wheel over the curb. But Lambert really does use his throttle control there to find the traction around the outside. You can see there, Zmarzlik drops the clutch, has to work the clutch on the way to the corner. And Robert Lambert just builds up momentum, wide line, just on the edge of the dirt there. And finds the speed down the back straight to hit the front under pressure. Great start under pressure from him. Puts himself in the semi-finals.
Yeah, terrific effort, and he's had an up and down night, as you rightly say. He started really well and then just went missing in the 3rd and 4th outings, where he failed to score on both those rides. Emil Bruem just finding it tough out there tonight, but nonetheless he's had a Grand Prix heat under his belt. But for that man to come back after 2 pointless rides and win his last one when he absolutely had to, if he hadn't have done, he wouldn't have got there. And so great effort from him. It would have been nip and tuck actually between Holder and himself. He still might have actually done it on 7 because he had a heat win, whereas Holder had... Oh no, Holder won his last ride. That would have been really tight actually, and it would have come back to when they met each other, which I'm not going to look at now because it doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter now because the result is done and dusted. But for Robert Lambert, moving on nicely now, and a touch of relief I would suggest. But it's not going to get a great pick, unfortunately, but nonetheless, still a chance of making the final here in Vojens tonight. Round number 8, of course, of 10 here in the Speedway Centre. And here we see the gate stats again, and once again the gate 4 absolutely red hot, and that's when it's tough when you come to the semi-finals, because gates 2 and 3 really are tough to win races from. You're going to have a bit of good fortune in that first turn if you're coming out of there and you want to make the final tonight, and you've got to say that fairly straightforward for the guys with the big points.
Yeah, it's quite rare actually to see gate 4 at any track being quite that dominant, so but you've got to take it.
You have indeed, and we're seeing a wonderful picture of the moon there in the sky, but let's take some more a look back now on the action so far tonight. So there we are then. We got the draw coming up now for the semi-finals, and gates 4 and 1 I think will be the popular ones, there's no question about that, and Phil Morris will be taking us through that very shortly. A little bit of track grading going on now prior to the last 3 races of the night. It's been a tough night, there's no doubt about that. It always is, of course, at Grand Prix level, but this track being a little slick and greasy at times, its bike setup has been absolutely crucial. Making starts has been tough, particularly from gates 2 and 3, Chris, and that is not ideal really, particularly when you come to this stage, is it?
No, it's not. Obviously makes semi-final picks, gate picks for semi-finals and finals absolutely crucial, but Ty Wolfenden, it's nice to see he's got the fire back in his belly. He's dropped just 1 point in his last 4 rides as he headed into the semi-finals.
So there we go then, and as I say, Phil Morris will be with us very shortly. Good to see 3 Danish riders through to the semi-finals here tonight. That's great for the home crowd, of course. Rasmus Jensen doing a fine job as the wild card. Leon Madsen coming on strong with 2 back-to-back race wins. Mikkel Mikkelsen defying the odds here with that injury to come through really nicely on 11 points. And he will have a favourable pick for the semi-final. So you've got to say, with the way the stats are on the gates, a very good chance of making it through to the final, as will Wolfenden as well. So he'll have a favourable pick as well with the first choice in the first semi-final.
Yeah, Dudek, a rider that does need a big performance tonight. He may be sitting in what looks like a comfortable 4th position, but he's only 6 points clear of that top 6.
So here we go then. Let's move on down into the pit area, and Phil Morris will take us through the draw for the first semi-final.
And the rider with the first selection in semi-final 1 is Ty Wolfenden. Ty, please select your colour for semi-final 1. Ty Wolfenden selects the white gate position.
I think it's the yellow actually, but he's on the outside for semi-final number 1.
And the next to make his choice is Leon Madsen. And Leon goes for the red gate position.
Pretty much as we expected.
And the next to make a selection is wildcard Rasmus Jensen, who selects the white gate position.
So Jensen, who's had a good night, really good night for a wildcard, had a gate number 3 in white.
And finally, Robert Lambert with last choice has the blue gate position.
So there we are then. Line up for semi-final number 1 is done. So the lineup then for semi-final number
Thank
one,
you,
Leon
guys.
Madsen off the inside in red, Robert Lambert alongside him in blue, gate number 3 for Rasmus Jensen, and Ty Woofenden going from the outside in yellow this time. So semi-final number 2, and Phil will take us through that now. Good looking race, obviously Lambert just squeezing through there, but gate 2, it's tough from there so far this evening. Might prove to be a touch difficult. Favourite's got to be Madsen.
And the first choice for semi-final 2 is Mikkel Mikkelsen, who selects the yellow gate position.
Yep, once again the gate 4 being favourite tonight, that's for sure.
And the next to make a selection is Patrick Dudek, and Patrick selects the red gate position.
History repeating itself here, and no real surprise so far.
And next to make the selection is Bartosz Zmarzlik, and Bartek selects the blue gate position.
So a slight change there with Zmarzlik going for
And
gate
the
number 2.
final selection goes to Jason Doyle, who has the white gate position. Okay, thank you guys.
So there we are then, semi-final number 2. Looks like this, with Dudek on the inside in red, Zmarzlik out of gate number 2 in blue. Jason Doyle will go from gate number 3 in white, and Mikkel Mikkelsen, who had the first pick, will go from the outside in yellow. And Zmarzlik under a little bit of pressure here, because Madsen, coming out of the first semi-final on the inside, has a good chance. Gate number 2 has proved to be really tough tonight, so Zmarzlik's going to have to find something a little bit special, Chris, because I just sense this is an opportunity here.
It is, yeah, it's an opportunity certainly for that man there, Leon Madsen. He's looking fairly calm, fairly composed, definitely focused. I had a long chat with him earlier today, and he's playing down the chase for gold in 2022, but if he take points out of that 16-point gap between him and Zmarzlik tonight, I think that focus will change a little.
Well, every chance, yeah, and the way it's gone for him tonight, he's produced really well, actually, in the latter stages of his qualifying heats to come through with back-to-back heat wins, and he's arrived in semi-final number 1, coming off the inside, which has seen plenty of race wins. Rasmus Jensen could be a threat to the 2 favoured riders here in Woofenden and Madsen, because Rasmus Jensen has certainly ridden superbly well. And we must mention Robert Lambert as well, who turned his fortunes around with a fine win there to lower the colours of Zmarzlik in Heat 20 to manage to get into the semi-finals. And interesting that Zmarzlik didn't fancy going out of gate 3, did he? He wanted to try and jump all over the rider on gate number 1 to try and make that first corner his. That's got to be his challenge coming from gate 2.
Yeah, that's the kind of mentality that he's got. He'll believe in himself. He knows that 2 and 3 are not the favoured gates, but I just think you're absolutely right. I think his focus is on making the start ahead of Dudek, just getting his elbow across and controlling the first turn. But Robert Lambert there really soaked up the pressure in Heat 20, did a great job to win that one ahead of Zmarzlik. He's coming out of gate 2, which of course is where he got excluded from. He was feeling the pressure of that race, knowing that he needed points.
So here we go then, first semi-final of the night. Robert Lambert, we were just discussing, he sits on 68 World Championship points as a consequence of that 3rd place in Wroclaw, and he's doing his championship no harm at all by making the semi-final here this evening. So pushing on with Freddie Lindgren out of the semi-final. Certainly Woofenden and Lambert and Mikkelsen are looking to make big headway here tonight, with a great opportunity to move into the top 6 at the completion of the Grand Prix. So plenty of opportunities for all of these. Semi-final number 1 then, the lineup once again for you. Going from the inside in red is Leon Madsen, second in the championship chase right now. Robert Lambert comes out of gate number 2 in blue. Rasmus Jensen, the wild card, will go from gate number 3 in white. And Ty Woofenden, who sits in 8th place in the World Championship, he goes from the outside, and he's made that work on several occasions already this evening. He loves it out there, he loves that swoop across, and wouldn't be a major surprise to see him do it once again here. And once he has hit the front, Woofenden's looked really impeccable. He's had plenty of speed. Madsen likewise. Got to say, with the way the gate stats are, Chris, it's got to be looking at gates 1 and 4 to make the final tonight.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, inside gate, outside gate, been working the best all night, and both Leon Madsen coming off the inside and Ty Woofenden have finished the meeting in spectacular fashion. Madsen with 2 race wins, and Ty Woofenden, well, he's only dropped 1 point in his last 4, so they're riders that have the setup under them.
They have indeed. They've showed great form tonight. So here we go then. First semi-final of the night. Settling down, Star Marshall moves away, green light is on. Tapes up. Oh, Rasmus Jensen's just blown it big style off the start, and that's allowed. I've got to say, I think he might have put the other riders off there, because Robert Lambert has taken full opportunity here with both hands. Out of gate number 2, Lambert. Wow, wins his last qualifying race. Madsen now coming through in the 2nd place. Robert Lambert, that really is a surprise. He's out in front, looking like a finalist from there. Madsen coming through terrifically well. Rasmus Jensen now in 3rd place with Woofenden out the back. Robert Lambert pushing on for another final.
Great stuff from Robert Lambert, comfortably out front. Madsen worked really hard up the inside of Woofenden. Rasmus Jensen followed him through, but then made a mistake immediately on turns 3 and 4, which has cost him dearly. He's just lost ground on Madsen. Looks like Lambert and Madsen for the final.
Out in front then, Robert Lambert with half a lap to go. What a first corner it was from him. Absolutely stunning stuff from him. Lambert's going to go through to the final. What a ride. Leon Madsen coming through in 2nd place. They make it. Rasmus Jensen just missing out, and Ty Woofenden clearly bitterly disappointed not to have made the final here this evening. But delight for that man. He's had a tough run tonight. Failed to score in his 4th and 5th qualifying heats. Excuse me, 3rd and 4th. Wins his 5th ride to make the semi-finals, and wins the first semi-final. Followed home by Leon Madsen in 2nd place. Rasmus Jensen back in 3rd, and Ty Woofenden clearly very disappointed to miss out on the final this evening. But Robert Lambert, what can you say about that? That was a stunning ride from him, up against all the odds.
Yeah, and you can see Rasmus Jensen there, just lets the bike go up in the air, ruins his chances, but Lambert hits the front. Cracking stuff from him from gate 2, which has been lost cause all night. And then Madsen roars up the inside, somehow manages to keep the bike pinned down, got the front wheel over the curb, finds a bit of grip up the inside of Ty Woofenden, and joins Lambert in the top 2 for the semi-finals. Rasmus Jensen also up the inside of Ty Woofenden. Just looked all at sea there, Ty, for the first lap and a half.
I think he was put off initially, you know, with Jensen lifting so violently away from gate 3.
Not for the first time today. We saw it in qualifying with a practice start. Managed to keep on top of the bike that time. But what a way for Robert Lambert to respond.
Oh, yeah, brilliant stuff from Lambert, Chris.
2 pointless rides, middle of the meeting.
Absolutely. He has really turned his fortunes around, and his championship is right on track with his 3rd final of the year. And made the podium, of course, with a 3rd place in Wroclaw, and all of a sudden he's looking set for the top 6 right now, and that's a great achievement in itself. Here we go then, semi-final number 2. Will we see the fireworks that we saw from the tapes in semi-final number 1?
I think we will see fireworks, whether they'll be from the tapes or not, I'm not sure.
Well, there we are, we will wait and see. So the lineup then coming up very shortly for you for semi-final number 2. And with Schmarzlik coming out of gate 2, he would have watched that closely and seen the guy Lambert win from there in the first semi-final. Bit of work going on for Dudek in the background, but he will come out of gate number 1 in red. Bartosz Schmarzlik coming out of gate 2 in blue. Jason Doyle just crept into the semi-finals on 8 points. He comes out of gate number 3 in white. And Mikkel Mikkelsen finished on 11 points, goes from that favoured outside gate in yellow. Rafael Jabrocki there, the Polish team manager, keenly looking on, and he's got 2 charges here, of course, on the inside 2 gates, and he'll be very pleased to see both of them go through. But you've got to say, Mikkelsen's ridden so well tonight. Faded a little bit last time, but still had done the job prior to his last ride, really.
Yeah, and the 2 riders on the favoured gates, Dudek off 1 and Mikkelsen off 4, have been making good starts all night, so got to say it's advantaged those 2 at the moment, but 2 quality riders in the middle, in between them, with 2-time champion Schmarzlik and, of course, previous 2017 world champion Jason Doyle.
Yeah, 3 world championships between the 2 guys, coming out of 2 and 3. So a tough lineup here. Dudek, of course, is going along nicely. And he's got that inside gate, but Dudek chose gate 2. He clearly feels he's got to get the better of Dudek on that run to the first corner. Semi-final number 2 here in Vojens tonight. Whoa, long pause. They go roaring into the first corner. Dudek has made a great start. Smarslik missed it completely. Doyle's there right alongside Dudek down the back straight. Charges into turns 3 and 4. Here comes Smarslik round the outside. Made a terrible start. Dudek, oh my goodness gracious me. He's out in front, but Smarslik round the outside of Doyle, and a sensational move from him.
Tell you what, Smarslik there was unbelievable. Him and Jason Doyle coming together down that home straight, but Smarslik it is that now settles down behind Dudek. I'm sure he's not actually going to be looking to make the pass, but I'll tell you what, he's coming under pressure from Doyle. He's going to have to watch that challenge.
He has indeed. Dudek's out in front. Smarslik with that dynamite pass earlier on. Doyle working the outside so very hard, blasting round turns 1 and 2, but it's just not working out for him. Mickelson, clearly feeling the effects of the injury, has pulled up out the back, but Dudek now, and the 2 Polish riders go through. Doyle there working so very hard back in 3rd place, just missing out. But what a move that was from Bartosz Smarslik after an awful start. How on earth he got round the outside of Jason Doyle early in the race, well, we will wait and see the replays, but by golly, there was very little racing room, and he showed unbelievable commitment to get round the outside of the Australian. But Dudek and Smarslik through to the final. Here we see the result. Dudek wins, Smarslik back in 2nd place. Jason Doyle there frustrated because he was right there back in 3rd place. And Mickelson, well, he's just run out of steam tonight.
Yeah, got a feel for Jason Doyle. Made such a good job of the first turn. Real wise move from him coming from gate 3, which he was left with last pick. But Dudek there, great from the start, really makes it work hard. Now, that was a good first turn from Jason Doyle, gets himself up the inside, tries to put the challenge in on Dudek, who just turns in early, stops that run. Now Smarslik, just look out for Smarslik, the rider in blue. As he comes around the outside of Jason Doyle, and Jason spots that challenge, moves across the track. He's got to cover it. You can see there the left leg of Smarslik. He actually has to lift it out of the way, but he doesn't back the throttle off. He just turns left and says, no, this is my race.
Yeah, look at the right hand. Absolutely no change in it whatsoever.
There's inches, not even inches actually. There's just a few millimetres in between certainly Smarslik's elbow and Jason Doyle's front wheel. You can see this is probably going to be the best angle to see. Oh no, this was the run into the line, but cracking race.
It was a cracking race, Chris, and they say in NASCAR, if you're not rubbing, you're not racing, and they certainly were rubbing there. So we will be able to get some reaction with Scotty Nichols, because he's got the wild card with him, Rasmus Jensen.
Yeah, Rasmus Jensen joins me. Rasmus, coming into wild card, you certainly didn't disgrace yourself getting into that semi-final. Good night.
Yeah, the word now is just disappointed, because I really felt I had the speed in that semi, but Wolfie tricked me to sign up. Like, you know how it is, how intense that start is in a thing like this, and he triggered the clutch lever twice, and I let go and caught me out, so my mistake. But yeah, like I passed him after 1 or 2 laps, I think, and felt like I was getting up to the other side. I knew I had the speed in that semi, but the gate definitely wasn't something to brag about.
No, it's a bit like the practice one, but we won't go there. No, mate, but you didn't. But it's there's an awful lot of pressure. You're out to prove. You've certainly not disgraced yourself. You had a great night. You got into the semi-finals a lot more than a lot of people have done tonight.
Yeah, if you'd ask me a month ago if I'd be happy with a semi-final, I probably would have said yes, but I felt like I had the speed today to make that podium, as I was talking about before, but yeah, close.
Mate, I'm sure you reflect and look at the positives, so thanks for chatting, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Okay, yeah, a good night for Rasmus Jensen. Clearly disappointed at this stage, but I'm sure tomorrow when he reflects on his performance, he'll be proud of it. So we move now forward to the big race of the night, the conclusion of the Grand Prix here in the Speedway Centre, Vojens Speedway Centre. It's been a terrific night, a really healthy crowd. The weather's behaved. It's been a credit to the organisers here this evening. There's no doubt about that. And we build up. We've had 2 really stunning semi-finals. They really have come alive at the conclusion of this night. And Robert Lambert's stunning ride in semi-final number 1, that really did take us by surprise. And Smarslik, an awful start from gate 2 in semi-final number 2, but he never knows when he's beat, does he?
No, he doesn't. And determination is the word I would use to describe Smarslik. He was a determined character in that race. He just took no prisoners. I mean, Jason Doyle did everything and more that he could to stop him. He gave nothing away, but Smarslik was coming through.
Just would not be beat. And clearly the championship on his mind, and that Leon Madsen already through to the final, doesn't want to give up any more ground, and had to dig awfully deep there, coming out of a poor gate, but was last on the first corner, but battled his way through into second place, so makes another final this year. Lambert back in the big time once again here, third final of the season, so great work from him. Dudek making finals for fun this year as well. Real good work for him. You said earlier on that although he's in 4th place, still in a fairly precarious position because so little to choose between riders here this season.
Yeah, far from comfortable, just 6 points between him and Freddie Lindgren in 6th, so this will do him no harm at all tonight.
Yeah, this will be the 43rd final for Bartosz Smarslik. But let's get down to Phil Morris now, who will conduct the draw for the grand final.
And the first choice for gate position in the final is Patrick Dudek. And Patrick selects the red gate position.
So gate number 1 for Patrick.
And next to make the selection is Robert Lambert. And Robert selects the yellow gate position.
Okay, no change there then, really. 2 favoured gates.
And the next selection goes to Leon Madsen. And Leon selects the blue gate position. And the final gate position, white, goes to Bartosz Smarslik.
So there we are then.
Thank you, guys.
Line up for the big final then. Dudek on the inside in red. Leon Madsen, second in the championship right now, comes out of gate number 2 in blue. Championship leader comes out of gate number 3, Smarslik in white. And Robert Lambert, what a night it could be for him, coming out of that favoured gate number 4 in the final in yellow. And I must say, it has been a remarkable turnaround of events for Lambert, who, as I say, did a damn Bewley to get into the semi-finals by winning his last ride. And concentration written all over his face. What an opportunity this is. But certainly Smarslik doing the hard yards in the semi-final. It was kind of almost now, it's damage limitation, because Leon Madsen, unless he wins and Smarslik finishes 4th in the final, he's not going to lose too many points, and he could still very well win. But it's wide open, this, I would suggest. It was an unexpected result, certainly in semi-final number 1. I think that interview that Scott Nichols did with Rasmus Jensen sort of explained the reasons why he was a touch twitchy on the start, with looking at the clutch hand of Ty Woofenden on gate number 4. But I think as much as Jensen was put off, I think Woofenden was as well, because he just didn't get the run to the first corner.
Yeah, interesting to see Dudek actually just bucking the trend a little bit there and taking gate 1 over 4 with first choice, but of course he did win his semi-final from gate 1.
Yeah, from memories there's then, so often it's the case when a rider feels comfortable, and they will go back there if at all possible, and he had the opportunity and he took it. Lambert, I think, will be more than happy to be coming off gate number 4 in the final tonight. There's a hush around this stadium right now. Leon Madsen, of course, they had 3 riders, the Danes, in the semi-finals. They've got 1 in the final here. And probably the one that, in the context of the 2022 World Championship, is the one they want to see, because 16 points in arrears to that man alongside him, and an opportunity once again just to eke into that lead if he can get away sharply here in the final.
Yeah, he took 6 points out of the lead in Wrocław. He could do the same again tonight with the right result here in the final.
He could indeed. So here we go then, grand conclusion to the night with the final. Dudek's been riding well of late, and makes another final. And it's got a favoured gate, could be his night. Goes about his business quite calmly and quietly these days, but nonetheless, that's certainly, since that win in Germany in Tetra, really had a really great run of form. And wouldn't be a surprise at all to see him win from the inside here this evening. So Vojens Centre packed to the rafters tonight. Great atmosphere out there. Promotion have done a great job to encourage people to come. The weather's played its part, and the public have responded in fine style. So on the inside is Patrick Dudek in red. Leon Madsen was alongside him in blue, gate number 2. Gate number 3 in white is Bartosz Smarzlik, and Robert Lambert will go from the outside in yellow. Who do you fancy then, Chris? This is tough lineup as always, but Robert Lambert, I mean, crikey, he really has turned it on in style lately.
He has, yeah, and experienced his first podium last time out in Wrocław. Got to say, gate 4 and the speed that he showed us in the semi-final makes him my favourite coming from gate 4.
Yeah, I would possibly go along there with that, but I think I'm just going to go with a home win here with Leon Madsen. I think just to mix it up a wee bit, but it could be a tall order coming out of gate number 2. Here we go then, big final on the night here in Vojens. Here we go, green lights on and we're away. Madsen's made a good start, but so has Smarzlik, but it's Lambert. Lambert and Smarzlik through that first corner. Smarzlik there, Lambert having the door absolutely rammed shut down the back straight. What a start from gate number 3 that was. Madsen coming on strong in 3rd place. But Robert Lambert now settling in 2nd, but this is just what Smarzlik has done. He's cleared off out in front. The championship lead was 16 points. He's going to stretch it by another 4 points if he can hang on out in front now.
Oh, great stuff from Bartosz Smarzlik. He is so determined. His semi-final ride and the speed and pace he's got in that first turn, coming from gate 3, almost impossible task. Robert Lambert, great first lap, but he just had to get defensive on Madsen, lost that initial ground on Smarzlik, but what a response. Great ride from Bartosz Smarzlik.
Smarzlik out in front. This is all but done. The World Championship is getting ever closer. He wins here in Vojens tonight. Brilliant ride from him. Robert Lambert clearly delighted with a 2nd place. And Leon Madsen back in 3rd, and Dudek misses out. Smarzlik wins his 2nd Grand Prix of the year. And won the opening round, of course, in Croatia. Wins again in Vojens. Superb effort from him. Congratulations also goes to Robert Lambert with a fine 2nd place. Brilliant stuff from Robert Lambert. And Leon Madsen back in 3rd, but Smarzlik, you can just see the reaction. That meant an awful lot to him tonight.
It did, yeah. It's rare that you see him reacting quite like that. He's used to winning races, used to winning Grand Prix. But that's 2 wins now here in Vojens, and a 2nd from his 3 Grand Prix. And, well, you've got to say, fully deserved it. How much speed did he have in that final?
And what a start it was from gate number 3. Absolutely nailed it. And when it really mattered, Smarzlik showed his class and came through with such a stunning display there in the final. The opposition really had no answers for it. Smarzlik wins the final brilliantly. Great ride for Robert Lambert back in 2nd place. Leon Madsen in 3rd, and Dudek just missing out. Didn't get away as well as he would have liked off that inside gate. But for that man now, you've got to say, with another 20-point haul and 16 points for Leon Madsen, he stretches that lead out to 20 points once again with 2 rounds to go. He is in the box seat and could very well tie up his 3rd World Championship in a week's time in Manila in Sweden. But nonetheless, a brilliant victory tonight.
So much respect from all 3 of these riders riding round now ahead of the presentation of trophies, but we just see it again from the start. Madsen drops the clutch, tries everything to get it to come from gate 2, but Smarzlik from gate 3 hasn't been working at all well all night. Shuts the door there, both legs. We saw Smarzlik and Robert Lambert having a long chat just now after the race. Maybe it was a little bit about that first lap, but Smarzlik, he didn't shut the door, he slammed it in Robert Lambert's face. Great start from Robert Lambert coming from gate 4, but Smarzlik there now on the inside, just creeps around the curb, and Robert Lambert, he thinks he's got a run, but yeah, Smarzlik left him nothing at all.
No, he didn't. It was a ruthless move there from a man who was very
Lucky he
keen.
didn't put his foot
I'll
in
tell
his
you
front
what,
wheel, actually.
absolutely, it was awfully close, and Robert Lambert had to put all the brakes on down the back straight. But Smarslick's performance in the semi-final was unbelievable to get around the outside of Jason Doyle. We really did see the best of Bartosz Smarslik in his last two outings here this evening. Absolutely top draw performance from Bartosz Smarslik. 20-point lead in the World Championship, looking set for a third world title in 4 years. An outstanding achievement that would be if he does indeed go on and do it, and he's certainly looking set fair for that. Joy in the camp. It's been a tough night for them. They've had to work very hard indeed, and the rider was the difference. You know, the semi-final in particular, when he was at the back in the first corner.
Yep.
Here we see the points on the night. 20 points for Smarslik, 18 for Lambert. Great effort for Lambert. Leon Madsen, 16 for him. Dudek, 14. Rasmus Jensen, 12 points for him. A good effort. Jason Doyle on 11. Ty Woofenden on 10. Mikael Mikkelsen on 9. Be very interesting to see the overall standings now, to see the positions in the top 6 as well, because they'll, no question, I think Robert Lambert will be well and truly in there now, with Freddie Lindgren missing out. But for that man, he's in the box seat right now. He's been in charge pretty much all throughout the season, but that second Grand Prix win on the year, you've got to believe, it's giving him every chance of clinching his third World Championship in 4 seasons. So yeah, there you see it now, the 20-point lead. 128 points, 108 there for Leon Madsen, 91 for Bewley. Not a great night for him. Patrick Dudek closing in. Robert Lambert into 5th place on 86, 10 points clear of the man in 6th. What a night for Lambert, brilliant stuff from him. Woofenden back in 7th, and Lindgren dropping down to 8th. Mikkelsen there just running out of steam, so you have to feel a bit for him. And Doyle back in 10th on 68, but still nothing to choose between 6th and 10th. So let's get down with Scott Nichols on the centre green. He's got the winner. Bartosz Smarslik with him now.